is certainly an example of this, and it is my hope the United Planetary's history subscribed to similar ethos. And yet, it is unnerving that there is a need to acknowledge the constant efforts towards destroying and or sabotaging the soul of the organization in our planet. And I can only hope yours is not a target to the same caliber of evil. So where do we go from here? We have managed to establish some common ground. Right from the start of our history, I hope, weak as this threat may be, it assists us in the finding of bases for cooperation regarding our common challenges. I would like to believe this would contribute to make our future less uncertain. As I'm here today, I wonder about the journeys and issues confronting others in this structure, and hope for an opportunity to establish elements of commonality that could enable a better perspective in the issues that confront us. If nothing else, this experience should open the door to the possibility of exchanging information regarding problems confronting some of us in common. And yet, it is my conviction the problems we are facing us all without distinction, even when the difficulties could take different disguises. A spirit of cooperation could certainly make every difficulty more surmountable. But I'm talking to you today with the anxiety born from my uncertainty when it comes to the capacity of our people to confront this challenge at this time. There is no question in my conviction that given the opportunity, our people could reconnect with the goodness in the roots of their being. But today, that hope is still too ambitious and could result in hurt and disappointment. Our people need to move outside the harmful influence, but the influence is still among us. Sadly, before we can help our community, we need to overcome the elements blocking our efforts. And those elements, even when hiding behind familiar faces, are alien. The situation has been and continues to be frustrating. We need to run, and yet we are being prevented from even walking. Yet many of us are still committed to try. How can we help each other? I am committed to life, and that certainly and especially include our own. I had the good fortune of being able to improve the situation at the largest scale. I conceptualize a way to fix the black holes in space, encompassing the physical and spiritual realms. The black holes, a byproduct of the practice of destroying stars, were pulling the galaxies in ways that were collapsing the universe. It was my good fortune in meeting a committed and extremely competent person from a different part of the galaxy, of our galaxy, that sprang into action, deploying hundreds of teams in all directions, bringing our extended natural space environment back to health. It is this person's merit that brought my ideas into reality. And I think today we almost could afford the dream of a future again. And yet the problem has not subsided. The danger that was addressed was the creation of an evil intelligence determined to destroy life. The improvements in the environment are comforting, but are not a solution to the underlying problem. It is my conviction, it is a matter of time before we have to face another environmental catastrophe. Therefore, I hope we take the reprieve afforded to analyze the situation in our respective areas, vigilant to unexpected change. On closing, I would like to stress the important role economic forces seem to play in the overall situation. Once again, it should be in everyone's best interest to pay attention to developments in that front. As a matter of fact, I would like to move to a different issue. And to quote once again from my previous work, Nora Rasenti in military issues. The piece is too colloquial for today's audience. It was meant for the local audience. Yet the matters raised there are of relevance today. As I said, never in the history of our planet have the lives of people been treated with such indifference. When it comes to military personnel, this attitude consolidates to tragic legitimacy. Our people are appreciated and cherished, and are certainly not numbers on a board. And I do believe that most of you can relate to that. I do not wish to include the entire piece, but I would like to highlight several issues raised here that are of relevance today. The detrimental effects of wars in the natural environment. At the time, I was thinking of the environment in the planet, but there is no denying the need to expand that view. The conflict that has remained understated and undefined for so many generations have cost us half the stars in our galaxy today. Not to mention the burden of resentment that fed in our planet, suspected of being a willing participant of this destruction, long before we had the technological acumen required to make it possible. True, in recent years, some of us wish some of our people were less proactive in their collaboration. In this regard, I would like to quote Kipling that said, "A problem well stated is a problem half solved." Number two, My commitment towards the avoidance of unnecessary military engagements, rather promoting the peaceful resolution of conflicts. 3. My involvement with organizations promoting interfaith, dialogue, that is, encouraging communication between people of different religions in an effort to curtail the escalation of hostilities between people of different beliefs. 4. I am a big admirer of technology and have always been amazed at its capacity to affect and even change the path of society. I am committed to a weapons industry that is friendly towards people and the environment. I have made 2 contributions, the missile and the Nora that illustrates this. 5. My conviction that our scientific community have an important contribution to make in this regard. This is a logical progression from the previous point and has resulted in one of the most inspiring military campaigns in history, in my opinion, where an invasive species in an entire universe was subdued by a handful of people with only one casualty to themselves, and even that one was eventually recovered. I requested the development of a chemical weapon that would destabilize the bacteria in the invasor without disturbing the natural environment. The hope was to motivate negotiation in difficult circumstances. The product readiness after several months of research was too hard to resist, and the campaign proceeded without further ado. I was outvoted, but managed to contribute technical points regardless. Even though the outcome desired is still to be secured, the success of this peaceful campaign remains inspiring. It's a principle I call the scientific military. 6. I am committed to incorporating and strategize with the goal of avoiding the loss of personnel with a conviction to return with as many people as departed. 7. The lives of military personnel should not be pledged to offset penalties or sanctions. 8. The upholding of a policy to recover personnel lost in battle whenever possible, mostly through the use of negotiating structures. It is not realistic to expect that our communities can sustain this constant bleeding of our most competent people. I have to wonder how this is affecting the rest of the area. And the members, the distinguished members of the United Planet. It should be possible to monitor where our people are being deployed and in what circumstances. Our people are counting on our community leaders to be mindful of their lives, and their loved ones are trusting us to care for them. prepared to put their lives on the line to protect our areas should be appreciated and cherished. And I wonder how to go about popularizing the development of a culture of cherishing life. Military strategies that are people intensive are self-defeating. 9. Finally, strategies that require our people not to defend themselves should be discouraged. As pacifists, some of us dislike violence as a means to resolve disputes. But saving our own lives is also a way of preventing violence, to quote Mandela. On closing, we are confronting a situation that, even though it has been part of our history, it has not been recorded as such. Therefore, we need to assess it anew without a frame of reference, and that is always a challenge. I remain committed to the peaceful resolution of conflict, as highlighted at the beginning. I ask our friendly invaders about their commitment to our destruction. They indicated the progression was outside their scope of influence. They also indicated that once our sky collapsed, they could look forward to millions of years of empty inactivity, hoping for a new cosmic age and creations more to their liking. I pointed out the desirability of a future in separate areas, trading and with cultural exchanges, all of us growing and evolving rather than taking chances with a new, unknown, unpredictable new creation that could well result more disappointing than the present one. They responded that they are awaiting feedback in this regard. This about sums up what I wanted to share with your distinguished organization at this time. In writing this address, I refer to some previous works that I have authored. And you're welcome to refer to these works if you wish. A. Nora Rasenti in Military Issues, that was published in 2017, the year 2017 local. B. Environment and Spirituality, that was published in 2014 and contains the references to creation. And C. The Song on Diversity, that I wrote to celebrate the richness in the diversity of species in our area. I haven't dated it. I realize that I'm a bit short of the time allocated, and I'm hopeful that this rendition makes a positive contribution that opens the door to other exchanges, and I look forward don't know that this format enables any kind of questioning time. So I'm going to disengage now, and once again, thank you for affording me this